Thank you very much for coming out tonight, especially on a dreary evening. We know it's a busy time of year, and we know that you have a lot of other things you need to do, but this is very important, and your attendance tonight shows you're interested in our city, and we're very happy about that. Tonight's meeting is just the start of a process of vetting the issue. Nothing has been decided on yet. We have a lot of research to do, which includes your thoughts and comments and questions and from citizens like you. So thank you very much for coming. Oklahoma City officials encourage and welcome and appreciate your input. So right now I'd like to introduce Brett Weingard. He's the Assistant Director of the Utilities Department.
Thank you all very much for coming. My name is Brett Weingard, Assistant Director of the Utilities Department. We're going to try to speak up, but if I turn the mic up too much more, then we'll have feedback. So, as we discussed, our goal here is to make sure that you have an opportunity to provide input and that we can give you the facts on what has been proposed and the process that we go through at the City of Oklahoma City to evaluate these proposals like this. This is the second citizen meeting that we've had on this topic. Many of you I know have been at the earlier meeting we had back in 2011. We had a previous proposal and had a public meeting in the room adjacent to this building earlier on this same topic, where you were given the opportunity to ask your questions and talk about this once before, and we had taken that input into consideration at that time. The process that we have here is we see citizen input, and like we said a number of times here, and if this proposal goes forward from here, it would go to the Oklahoma City Water Utilities Trust, at which time there would be an opportunity for further public input and involvement in that process. And the trust meets usually on the first and third Tuesdays of each month in the City Council chambers. If they approve something, then it would go forward from there to the City Council that meets on Tuesday mornings at 8:30 at City Council. So there will be opportunities for you to have multiple opportunities to talk about this, to provide your input, and learn about these proposals and the deliberations that those boards and commission councils would take care of as they go through the process. At this time, I'd like to introduce Tim Allendorf with Pedestal Oil so that he can provide you with information about the proposal that they've received, or that we've received, and what their proposal is. And after that, then I will come back and talk to you about if the proposal was adopted and there was oil and gas minerals retrieved, what the trust would do with those funds. And I'll come back at a later time and talk about that after he gets an opportunity to speak. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tim. Oh, you want to go ahead and come on up.
My name's not Tim. My name is David Singer. I'm the president of Pedestal Oil Company. Thank you all for being here tonight. My father and uncle formed Pedestal Oil Company as an operating company in the early 1970s. The oil well you see, if any of you are familiar with the area at Hefner, it's in the middle of the shopping center. It was drilled by my father in the middle 1970s. We have a history of operating oil and gas wells that date back to the 1940s. As my grandfather and his uncle came to this country from Russia in 1913 and landed in Oklahoma and began living the American dream, earning a living in the junk business initially. In 1988, Pedestal became the largest operator in the city limits of Edmond by virtue of a purchase from Apache Corporation. I've got people that are telling me that they can't hear me in the back. Can you hear me? Doing the best I can. Is that better?
Yeah.
Okay. In 1988, Pedestal Oil Company became the largest operator in the city limits of Edmond by virtue of a purchase from Apache Corporation. We operate wells in some very highly dense populated neighborhoods, and I'm proud to say we have an impeccable safety record. We have operated in the city limits of Mustang, Newcastle, the Village, Oklahoma City, and others without incident. I personally enjoy the use of Lake Hefner.
No, but we don't really care about the history.
I personally enjoy the use of Lake Hefner, and my home backs up to the lake where I enjoy the beautiful environment that has been created here by our city leaders. You will hear information tonight that I hope will alleviate your concerns. My family, employees at Pedestal appreciate the value of the lake as we use the walking, running trails and other features around the lake just like everyone else here tonight. If we thought there was any chance whatsoever of doing harm to the environment, to the lake, to the water supply, we wouldn't be having this meeting. We wouldn't be seeking to drill a well on the Lake Hefner Reservation. Energy independence is now within the grasp of the American people thanks to technologies of horizontal drilling and hydraulic fracture stimulation techniques. There is much misinformation regarding fracture stimulation.
Why now?
After you have an opportunity to hear from our engineer, Tim Altendorf, and from Wayne Smith, I am certain you will be better educated. I understand that this doesn't necessarily translate to winning everybody's approval, but it is important to know the facts. I've never been more proud to call myself an Oklahoma Cityan, and the roots of my family now span 6 generations here in our great state. The oil and gas business dovetails hand in glove with the history of our state, and even today has an overwhelming influence on our state and federal budgets as gross production taxes rise and fall with oil and gas prices. I believe this project we have proposed will benefit the city of Oklahoma City, the members of the community, and help improve and make enhancements to the Lake Hefner Reservation that will benefit all of us who enjoy it.
Yeah, let's hope the dam holds.
So, we have Councilman Shadid here. Did you want to say anything?
My comments were really primarily to talk about how important it is, to stay calm and listen. But I am right now just overwhelmed, unfortunately, by how we have failed you as a city. It is breaking my heart that there are so many people who came out and are locked out of this meeting because we capped it at 134. We knew several days ago that hundreds of people were going to come to this meeting. There was no notification. I am heartbroken that they are out there in the cold. Many of us came 3 years ago and we heard a presentation. It was very clear that we were opposed to it. 3 years went by, we heard nothing, and now with 1 week's notice, that's fine. The passion that people have for the water and the neighborhood and Lake Hefner is very obvious. Why are we having it in this conservatory? There's a room right over there that's 5, 6, 7 times as big. It is breaking my heart that those people have come out there, they're trying to do their civic duty, and this is how we're treating them as a city. Now, after we are where we are, we have failed them. And I guess we're going to have a second meeting here after they stay in the rain for an hour. I think we should maybe have another town hall meeting.
Yeah. Yes. After the holidays.
Yes. We just met 2 weeks ago on the comprehensive plan. We had 300 people. It was very civil. It was very constructive, very educational. Let's have another one where we have objective scientists who come and present to the people, and we have plenty of room, and everybody can hear it, and it's well planned and lots of notification. That's what we need to maximize public deliberation and transparency, not this. This is part of it. been dealt the hand that we've been dealt. My daughter's here, she's video recording it, and we're gonna put it on the internet. We're gonna let everybody who couldn't be here or who's out in the rain, and we'll put it on the internet so they will be able to see it. Let's process. Nothing's gonna be decided tonight. Nothing's gonna be decided tonight. There are two bodies that this proposal would have to pass in order for it to be implemented. The first would be the 5 people on the Water Utilities Trust. That's Councilman Pete White, Councilman Pat Ryan, City Manager Jim Couch, Cody Graves, and Carl Edwards. If it passed that body, it would then go to the City Council, and it would have to get 5 out of 9 votes, and 1 is already gone. So, that being said, it would have to pass both of those, so no decisions could be made tonight. So what I would propose, as frustrating as this is, and as heartbreaking as it is, and as much fear as there is, and maybe a lot of that gets translated into anger, let's listen for the remainder of their presentation. And let's try not to talk over one another. Let's not let anger get away from us. Let's just hear what they have to say. It's all being recorded. We don't have to punch holes, whatever holes are going to be punched in it tonight. Let's hear the proposal. It's all being recorded, and then let's regroup. Let's have our questions answered tonight. Then let's regroup, formulate a well thought out policy positions, and hear from other experts in the weeks and hopefully months ahead. But for the remainder, let's try and deal with the hand that's been dealt with us, and let's not talk over one another. Let's not yell at them. Let's remain calm, and let's hear the proposal, and then we can move forward. With that, whoever's going to speak next. I think there's going to be time for questions at the end, but we'll let the next presentation move forward. Yes.
Thank you.
All right, at this time we'll have Tim come and give you a presentation concerning the proposal. Thank you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Say my name is Tim Altendorf. I'm a registered professional engineer, graduated in mechanical engineering in 1979 from Oklahoma State University.
Now we can't hear that. You work for the oil.
I worked for Pedestal Oil, graduated in 1979 with a Bachelor of Science degree in mechanical engineering from OSU. I received my registered professional engineer registration in 1986. I worked for Pedestal Oil Company for 29 years. I would consider myself an expert since all I've done since I started in the oil patch, ever since I got out of school, I've worked as far as drilling is concerned. What I want to do is I'll go through this as quickly as I can, but the reason that the south side of Lake Hefner's perspective is because when Lake Hefner was put in, it was built around several huge oil fields. One was to the west, the Great West Edmond Field. There was one to the north, one to the south. And so basically the lake itself impeded further development from the west and from the north. And basically there could be a substantial amount of hydrocarbon underneath the lake, and being that the city is a royalty owner, they would share in the benefits of any production from that, and for what they would use improvements for the reservoirs. Now, as far as the permitting is concerned, or when we approach the city about this, I'd like to go over this right over here. Okay, here we go. One of the main restriction is that anytime you drill within on Oklahoma City Water Trust property, that you cannot put a well any closer than 660 feet from the shoreline. And so what you see here, there is a stamp, there is an area here that is a minimum of 660 feet from here, from the north, from the east, from the west, and from the south.
Which shoreline you measure from?
The closest shoreline to where it would be right here, right over here, the high water line. That is correct.
Ooh, it never goes that high.
So the location itself, I know the people that live in the neighborhood association. If you go to Portland and Lake Hefner Road, if you go west maybe about 220 yards, that's the entrance, and that would be the access road right here, is Portland, come over to here, that would be the access road to the location. Go approximately 50 yards to the north, and that would be the entrance into the actual drilling site, if it was permitted to be there. The location size would be 300 by 375 feet. It would accommodate an initial well, and if it was successful, and the city was happy about it, then we would drill 5 additional wells from that pad. As far as the sequence of events are concerned, you still have to go through Aqua, you still have to go through the city council for a surface use agreement, for a lease agreement, for the drilling permits as well. So, and there's 3 layers: the state regulations, the city regulations, and Aqua regulations. If you can't do that, you cannot drill there. It's very stringent. The next thing I'd like
to the wetland area just to the south of there. What about the proximity to the wetland area just to the south of there that's directly connected to the water supply? What is the distance and proximity
660 feet.
to the wetland area just to the south of there?
Yes.
No, that's the shore.
Yes.
Those are the water trust rules.
Okay, I'll just take this off and talk like this. Some of the issues that I know that the neighborhood association wanted me to address were these protective measures. And as I mentioned, the city has different ordinances than the state. They're more restrictive, and Aqua even ramps it up a notch. As far as protective measures are concerned, the entire surface location would be surrounded by a dike of 2 foot tall and by 300 foot by 375 foot, a volume of approximately 40,000 barrels equivalent to water. That's 1.3 million gallons of water. That is what that location would hold, and anything that would go in there would have to go up a ramp and go down a ramp. Any water that was to rain into that area would have to be pumped out and hauled off. So also you have to make a provision that nothing can flow into it. So as far as the protective measures are concerned, the city code says that you must have a sufficiently high fence that will keep humans and animals out. And because I'm a runner I am a runner, and I run around the lake. I know there's a lot of skunks on the south side, and I want those out of there. But anyway, that's the situation about the fencing. It would be locked at all times, and I would presume that we would have to have some additional security measures as well, like